Hello, I'm Frank Stanishi of Open Forum, candid, frank, and live as always. Welcome to the Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app at the respective app stores for iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure you rate and leave a comment. Both apps are absolutely free. Zingo TV is available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and also on all smart TVs 2016 forward. Now on Open Forum. Raquel Painter, retired Marine Corps Sergeant, Major President of the United Way of Onslow County. Diane King Barnes, the founder of two small businesses, Cover to Cover, and of course, Divine Seeds of Hope Incorporated. And Fatia Ramadan Hall, an American citizen born in Dawa, Ethiopia, a victorious survivor of child abuse, rape, and human trafficking. And Agnes Higley Herman, a leader, philanthropist, pageant coach, director, competitor, judge, concert producer, business owner, and an organizer of several big events, including the Platinum Global Awards. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining us. We're leaving now. No, the intro, ladies, that was a challenge for me, I have to tell you. First of all, welcome to the program, all kidding aside.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right. Okay, why don't we handle it like this? Okay. Let's start by each of you introducing yourself, and we'll start from your left to right, um, and just give us a short idea of why you're here today, doing what we're doing today, and your future plans.
Hello, I am Raquel Painter. As Frank mentioned earlier, I'm a retired Marine Corps Sergeant Major, served 26 and a half years in the Marine Corps. Now I'm out in the community doing nonprofit work, and one of the things that I find is very important is cultural aspects and how important it is for people to learn each other's culture, get a better understanding so we could understand one another. I know one of my time in the military, me being Native American, there wasn't a lot of Native American activities around military bases and installations. So I think it's just good to provide a forum for people to talk about the cultural differences. But most importantly, once you learn those cultural differences, you begin to understand that we're not that different after all.
That's the benefit of being in the Army. That's been a common denominator in understanding when it comes to different races, different groups. Once they end up, in a barracks together, they get to know each other. And that's pretty much what the problem is with the differences that we all have for being different, is that we don't really understand or know each other and don't know the similarities that we have.
Yeah, so that's why I think it's good for us to form this Colorful Voices of Sisterhood so we can provide that platform for people to learn. Yes.
Okay, the brother will get out of the way, and we'll let number two tell us who she is and what this is all about for her.
Hi, I'm Agnes Herman. I'm originally from the Philippines. I'm a mother and wife. I'm an advocate, philanthropist, pageant coach, and I'm also the founder and the president of the AMH Foundation. AMH Foundation was formed 13 years ago to help and to serve children in impoverished areas of the Philippines and other countries as well. I echoed what Raquel said about what we are doing here as colorful voices of sisterhood, because being a woman, it is very important to be empowered as women of the world. Thank you.
It's very important that we have a representation from the Asian community with what's going on in North America today. So I applaud you joining this, and I look forward to what you're doing. Number three.
Hi, my name is Fatia Ramadan Ho. I am the mother of three beautiful children. I am from Ethiopia, large city of Dirredawa. I working on starting a nonprofit organization to raise awareness in my country and local and abuse trafficking, which is I experience. It's very important because what I experienced in my childhood, I don't want other children to experience. Then you become adult, and my culture, we don't talk about sexual abuse or trafficking, even they don't know what trafficking is. So it's very important and to educate them And so that's what I'm working on and part of the community and helping children, the next generation to come, because they are the future. And it is very needed to talk about it, to make it normal for uh, children or even adult went through it, they don't talk about sexual abuse or trafficking or any abuse. So I'm trying to be voice for the voiceless.
The
Thank you for having
conversation,
that.
yeah, the conversation you're talking about needs to be had. Your experience, again, I applaud you as well, because there's a few ways you can go when your life takes all those terrible directions. It's fantastic and wonderful, and I'm grateful to hear you turn it into a positive thing. Number four.
I am Diana King Barnes, actually born and raised here in Onslow County, the wife of Tommy Barnes. Have 3 kids, 5 grandkids, and how I got involved with Colorful Voices and meeting these beautiful ladies. We all have a lot of similarities. Believe it or not, we all may be from different cultures, but we have a lot of similarity. And I'm not an angry black woman, but I believe in what I believe in, and I believe that we all should be able to share what we believe in without anyone getting so upset and not being able to talk. So when I was approached to be a part of this, I am very glad to be a part to show that we can work together, even though we might not agree with everything, but together we make a difference.
Well, I appreciate your strength, your honesty, and your survival when it comes to having children and grandchildren, because we know being a mother and a grandmother today is a pretty good challenge.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we understand now a little bit about who you are, where you come from, and how you arrive here together. It was nice to hear that you're working together. You're a community of different people from different cultures. You have an opportunity here to help people to bridge, I guess, a gap. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
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 Now, how long have you been doing this?
We have just started. Actually, last year is when I met Fatia and Agnes, and the plans were put in place. Myself and Diana go back a few years. We were involved in many committees here in the community, really help each other and support each other. But we just had the pleasure of meeting Agnes and Fatia this past year, and that's when the discussion came about to bring awareness to the different cultures, to bring awareness to the similarities. And if you are different, it's okay to be different. And then, so we decided to kick off 2023 with Colorful Voices of Sisterhood to bring these topics to the community, to the world, so they know and understand the differences on why one culture may do something differently than another culture.
And we can celebrate them all.
And we can celebrate them all.
Celebrate them all.
Mhm.
So you have interaction between the four of you. How do you feel you'll be able to develop the interaction with your audience?
Actually, I think being real, talking about what we have different, but what we have similarity, and actually showcasing what we've been through, actually being real.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all have experiences that we could bring to the conversation. We all have been in situations that are, like Diana said, that are real situations that we went through and experienced. And sometimes it's good to just find that commonality with somebody else and talk about those experiences.
Yes.
And this is going to be a raw, organic, and we're just going to be like talking like we're inside our living room, just be true to each other, a
Yes.
sisterhood.
Yeah, also as people, most of the time we show people what they want to see, but what we're gonna do is, the real. And we, all of us go through stuff regardless the color, religions, and then the culture. We all connect as humanity, as human being, by having sisterhood here is in tune with ourselves.
Yes.
And then when everybody want to be perfect outside, but what is important is inside, is mental health. Reason I share my experience is nice and picturing how good you did in your life, but people they don't see that the behind what you've been through. When I walk, people they don't even think like I never been through something like that.
Right.
But by sharing that is you are not alone. If you share with others, if you're not sharing with others, I would like for people to in tune with themselves. Listen, I've been through, but I survived.
Yeah. So
This
you don't
is-
look like what you've been through.
Yes, this is
Right.
like achievement to me.
Yes.
By I never use drugs. I never drink alcohol. So I know something bigger than me carried me around all my childhood to this point. But I want the little boys, little girls that and they didn't have the voice. They were molested. I was one of them. And they were trafficking. They didn't have power to fight back. They keep in, especially the culture is telling you you should not talk about certain things.
Yeah.
So it is needed, and we made choices with different soldier. We have soldier. Then we have passion. Then we have here humanity that she's out and here survived. So we all go through, regardless where we're coming from. Perfect family, But yeah, this is what we're trying to do for local, and hopefully we will reach out to a million people.
Many voices. What we're hearing, what the viewers are hearing, is that we have four different voices here from four different places. And so when someone will you be dealing with issues? What kind of issues do you have on the table off the bat? What do you see as the important issues? Prioritize for me. Each of you pick an issue. This time we'll start from the right. We'll give Grandma an opportunity to start first this time. Uh, uh, Tell us what you see as an important issue that you'd like to broach this coming season.
Probably mental awareness, mental health will be one.
It's a big deal today. Coming out of the pandemic, we know that a lot of people ended up with issues because they really didn't socialize. As a grandmother, I think it's important also for you, and you probably understand it better than I do, how your grandkids might have not had the best kind of life until now.
Well, I think it gave us a chance to reconnect. So I think I try to look at the positive end because sometimes we're all so busy that we lose the connection. So when 2020 COVID hit, it gave us a chance to reconnect and to understand how valuable life is because it can be taken in a nanosecond.
Either of you ladies want to add on that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Since that I do pageantry, I think one of the most important also is having that confidence. Because a lot of our young people nowadays are lacking confidence and self-esteem. So as Diana mentioned about the word reconnected, it is very, very important to be, reconnect with your family, friends, and that would help. That would help with our young people nowadays too. There's a lot of varieties of how we can
How you can connect.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think in the future we will talk more about, because we are going to have different topics every week that we are going to do in our show. So
Yeah, that's an issue as well, ladies. That not being alone, like you discussed a little earlier, not feeling alone, because I think that's one of the challenges that young people have today, is that they feel like they're alone, even when they really aren't. But that'll be a great issue to talk about. Let's go to number two.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to go back and mention what Ms. Diana should say about mental, and is very, very important because, and you also say confident. All that comes with mental. If we do have people around us, but sometimes we watch what people do, especially for young generation. If they talk about certain things and be told you cannot talk about things, that's what it keep them in, and they cannot talk about it. They feel like they're alone. That's what suicide is so high, is because they are scared to express their feelings, how they go through. They think that they are alone. Nobody else go through what I went through, which is what I experienced. I truly believe that mental is the key to everything. Yeah.
A lot of them also are embarrassed to talk about it. They are, being ashamed.
Also, I truly believe that reason people suicide is not because they cannot deal with what's outside. We cannot deal with it's inside.
Voices within.
Because it's voice in with yourself. And you can go on your house and close your door and you don't have to see the next door. But when we cannot deal with our thoughts going through our experience, and that's I think when some people take their life. And that is I truly believe we all have responsibility to do something when we're here. And that's why I believe that reason I experience to make a difference, to not to take it to grave.
Yes.
Want to pick a new topic that you might be talking about?
Well, I think we got a list of topics we're going to start with, especially since this month here is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. That's going to be our first topic. We have a survivor right here on the team that we can really talk about, what it is. It's throughout the United States, throughout the world. It's almost surpassing drugs as the number one industry in America right now. So that's definitely a topic we're going to tackle on our first show.
And it's happening right here in our backyard.
Mhm.
It's happening here.
It's happening in neighborhoods
Yes.
across the country, across the world. I mean, it's just, it's an epidemic that a lot of people aren't talking about, that needs to be addressed and needs to come up to the forefront and be at the tables of discussion.
Yes.
Is there an opportunity, do you think, that you guys would be willing to talk about addiction?
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty
like-
sure.
Which, like depression?
Yes, especially Frank, when you think about the opioid
Crisis, yep.
epidemic we have. That's definitely a topic that we want to address, just because before, it's something that was prescribed and it
Yes.
seemed like it was okay, but now it's just overtaking people's lives, and it's an addiction that's really hard to come down from. So
Again,
we definitely be addressing it.
Again, this is another opportunity to let people know that they're not alone. Again, addiction sometimes, it involves people. It's a little harder to make them feel like they're not alone because they want to be alone, it seems. It seems, anyway. So normal issues that people have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Being in the Army, like you were,
The Marine Corps.
Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I got to remember that. Here, yeah, I got you. Okay. We sometimes we don't look favorably on being regimented. In other words, being organized, being orderly. Your experience, do you think there's a value in helping people to understand how they can be dedicated to a system and not feel like a robot, but feel like someone who's in control of their own lives?
Yes, most definitely. I think everybody has to have some type of system in their life. Otherwise, it is chaos. Whether it's you're a person that has to have that to-do list, or maybe you're the person that's got to check mark something that you do. There's always some type of regimen a person needs. You got to have that balance in your life. Otherwise, to me, it seems like it causes a lot of stress. I mean, to me, I'm just used to, I spent 26 years on a specific thing. I woke up at this time. I already had clothes. I knew what I was wearing that day. And now without that, I'm like Chicken Little. Oh my gosh, what am I going to wear today? That's stressful for me, which it might not be for them because they're used to that. But to me, I think there's got to be some type of regimen in a person's life. You got to have some type of stability in your life.
So you can offer, if I were a person that had an issue, and I could write to the show or call the show or inform the show that I need some help how to organize A, B, C, or D. You feel confident between the four of you as well, because being a grandmother, being a survivor, and being a businesswoman, all those things help us to understand how we can get by in life in different ways. That'll be an opportunity for you guys to do as well on a day-to-day basis, help people make it from morning, noon to night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Frank, I just want to say, I'm loving the idea of being a grandmother, but I found myself, to find yourself and who you are. So I go beyond just a grandmother. I'm a business owner. I'm a nonprofit. I'm a community active. It's actually finding your voice, and this allows me to find my voice. And I teach my younger ones too. Who are you? To know you who you are, not to be in the shadows of anyone else, but to actually be who you are. So and I'm enjoying this because I know who I am,
Mm-hmm.
and I can stand on who I am, and I can help someone else to be. Because even in the corporate world that I'm in, when we had to change from wearing certain things to wearing a certain attire, after being in the corporate world for 30 years, it rocked my world because I got a closet full of clothes. And now you're telling me I can't wear but just this right here. I had to step back myself and look at it and see what really matters.
Yeah, but on that topic, one of the new issues that you can probably speak to and about is that, especially, well, specifically for women, women in the work world, right, are spreading their wings a little bit. And do you feel you can help them understand how you can break some barriers? Because for women, dressing is a different perspective than men, right? At its root, you just expressed it, right? That you have a closet full of
Yeah.
clothes. And if I were a woman, I have four daughters, two sisters, no brothers, no sons. So I understand women a little bit. I lived with a few, and I'm wondering how you can help in helping younger people who enter the workforce. As you know, they come in thinking what they can wear is okay. How can you bridge that gap? Is that something you can help younger women understand?
Yes.
I'll leave that for Agnes, the fashionista here.
Yes.
Well, we often hear the word, you know, be yourself. Um, being being in the fashion world. Um, excuse me, sir. What's the question again, please?
Okay, here, let me help a different way. Let me help a different way. We just heard that somebody got into the corporate world and they had to walk away from a lot of clothes that they had before going there. Not because she chose not to wear those clothes, but that she couldn't wear those clothes. The point I'm trying to make, and how you guys can help, how you ladies can help someone understand that there are some barriers that need to be broken. In other words, you don't have to wear a pantsuit to go to work. You shouldn't have to wear only a pantsuit. I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but the point I'm trying to make is, as women of diverging cultures, also different generations, you might be able to help other people who are trying to fit in. Because essentially that's what we're talking about, right? When you go to the corporate world, you're being asked to be not who you are, like you said. How can is that something you feel you could chew on and help people with understanding how they can work in their self well-being, how they feel their image, not forsake their image for the sake of being an image that isn't them, creating a bridge, if you will, where you don't have somebody go and turn their back on all their clothes they gathered when they go to work. Because especially today with the cost of clothes, they're not cheap. It'd be great. It'd be great if there was a transition that could happen in a cooperation from the corporate world with women today who are entering their workforce in more and more numbers, graduating from university in higher and higher numbers. So they're going to have to get used to the fact that this isn't men in suits that are coming every day.
Right. Well, all of us should have a free agency, but at the same time, let's say, for example, if I have to go to a corporate office and work over there, I have to follow the rules that they have set in that particular uh, environment. Yes, and try to explain to them, hey, this is who we are. This is what we are. So following the rules of each environment should be important, and we should be able to um, follow through.
Yeah, but I think that also leads into, you can still be yourself. You can still add that personal touch. Like I look at Miss Diana, she's known for wearing pearl necklaces. You know, that's her thing. That's her touch. So no matter what she's gone, whether she's got a sweater, whether she's got I don't want to say a t-shirt, but
That's true.
yeah, she'll wear her pearls. You know,
Yeah.
there's still something of yourself you could bring to what the requirement of the workforce is. You just got to find out what that is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it should be taught early. You
Oh,
know,
definitely. Yeah.
A lot of times when they leave, not in high school, but high school and college, they're not even prepared for the corporate world or what to wear, what to look for when you go into the corporate world. So I think if it's taught me from home and then from school on, they can understand it. Yes.
I also think it's important, even though what in is very important, what is in, but people first thing they see is what's outside, how you present yourself. And it is sad how you present yourself, that's how people treat you.
Yeah.
So I grew up in, we don't have soap. Even we don't have soap, we wash with water, okay, we dry outside and we have to look clean.
Right.
It's just that that's how important it is growing up, really. Like, we don't eat, but we have to put some oil on our lips. It does not have to look dry. So it is, both is important.
Right.
The way you carry yourself, which is like you say, it has to be raised like that in family. Sometimes they are influenced. They see teenagers, see TV, social media, and when I get to certain age, I used to hide my clothes to go out of my friend's house to change because I cannot wear certain things from out my mom and my dad's house. So yeah, we should cover, and our community, you're not supposed to wear pants. So we used to put in a bag and go to friend's house and change.
Yeah.
And so it is very important to present yourself very well. When I see now teenager, it was time that I used to wear certain things.
Yeah.
Okay. And now when I see teenagers like my daughter, and I'm like, okay, she's different than me. She's way different than me. She born and raised in America. But the way she dressed, I'm like, thank God. God gave me the best version of me. So, and I think it's very important to influence young people without not changing them much, but showing them, hey, you can find looking fashionable, but you don't, But they have to have that relationship with you before you tell people what to do, and you have to let them in. You have to. So yeah, it's very, very important actually to do that in our community. Thank you for asking that question. It's really good. I am passionate about it, actually.
Well, I'm glad you appreciate the question almost as much as I appreciate the answer. I also, with what you said, it comes to mind. You were talking about, not necessarily makeup and stuff like that, but more or less self maintenance. When you're like, for example, you were referring to the oil on your lips. How do you see that being part of your program where you can give people health maintenance advice? Is that something you feel like you guys could handle and be willing to talk to the audience about?
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
most definitely.
Absolutely.
I think with our life experiences, where we've been through in life, who we met, I think we got a lot of information to give. But also our plan is to bring in some experts where we need it most. Especially when you're talking about mental health. We definitely want an expert to come in to really dive into and share that type of information because we're all passionate about mental health. You see it every day in the news.
Yes.
How a lot of communities are lacking in the mental health support. So I think some things we got to bring experts in.
Absolutely. Yeah, when we talk about health issues, we talked about mental health issues. We talked a little bit about physical health issues. What about financial issues? As women crossing different backgrounds and probably different types of vocations. How do you feel you could help people in understanding how to, I'll put it blunt, get ahead?
On that one there, I feel very confident that we could help. We're all very successful women in our communities, in our lives, and everything that we do. When it comes to finances, I think overall everybody's lacking in that department. It's definitely it's definitely not taught. Yeah, it's definitely not taught in school, and most of it is trial and error. You know, a lot of people build up debt from credit cards because they don't understand how that works. So I think there's a lot of information that we can give on that finance side. Just because to be successful, you really got to understand and be able to manage your finances.
Yes. And coming from that financial world, I would love to bring on different financial speakers because that is my forte, that is my background in financial, because I teach people when people say they don't have any money to save, so we actually can show them how they can start off with just $5 and to start saving money. So we look forward to that one.
Along with that, budgeting is also very, very important to talk about.
Then, of course, there's this. I guess I saved the biggest one for last. Social, the social world that we all live in. Do you see your viewpoints? You have views on Facebook, Twitter, all the wonderful stuff that's out there. Do you see yourselves as people who would like to look into that and help people see the good, the bad, and how to deal with that kind of stuff? Because that contributes to everything we just talked about, because it talks about, it talks to mental well-being, physical well-being, self-worth. All these things revolve around that one, can go bad because of that one thing. How can you help in people understanding, using social in a way that is productive?
Yeah, on social media, I mean, I'm a big proponent of social media. I love it because there's so much information you can get.
Yes.
But you have to be smart about it. If something doesn't sound right, more likely it's not right. So you definitely got to do research on a lot of stuff. I think when you're using social media, you always have to be wary on what you're reading and how you're getting it. Definitely when you talk about the interaction with people. Without that face-to-face and you're just doing it through social media, a lot of people lose that social skills.
Yes.
So there's a lot of people that are lacking social skills because they've only communicate or use social media to communicate. So I think it's very important to get back to the communication skills for people. I think that would definitely be a topic for us on how to talk to people, how to address people, whether you're going in for an interview, whether you're trying to make a phone call to get something fixed. I mean, there's just certain communication skills people need.
Yeah, one of
back to the basic.
Yeah,
Back to the basic.
one of the big things that I believe in, and I think it's really important, and I think it should be part of our education system, not just about social media, but critical thinking. Where you're able to actually diagnose what you hear, what you see, what you read, and understand how to tear it apart so you can pick it apart so that you can separate the truth from the other stuff.
yes.
That's true. That is so true.
Yes.
I believe social media, it has a lot of beneficial. It's really good. It's how you use it. Social media we mix bad because I used to buy a card to call my family. Now I don't. I just FaceTime and I second. And it's how people use the social media. And like you say, the mental health, people, we read stuff. If you're reading something, those people you don't know, again, you have to be mentally strong to deal with bullying,
Right.
And if when you know yourself, it doesn't matter what people has to say about you. You know who you are, and that does not define you. Like that's why it's very important to have a strong mental. This is everything.
Yes.
Our mind
Yes.
is everything that operates, and our body, our physic, everything. So I think that is a lot of people, like my daughter, she's a teenager now. I have a son that he's gonna be 22, and little one, and I just tell them like, hey, I don't want them to be in social media 24 hours, but it's not bad. It's how we use it, what it makes social media bad.
Yeah, social media is a big challenge today. You know, everybody's well, everybody wants us to be able to say what we want, but it seems to me that I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I don't agree that anybody can say anything. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's free speech because having an opinion that's based on a lack of truth or dishonesty, and I mean confirmable dishonesty. There should be a defense against that, and there should be a way that's handled. I don't know in America. I'm in Canada, so I'm not in the U.S. Your country has a history of being litigious, right? There's a lot of litigation going on there, and but it's not a bad thing. I want to point that out. I don't want it to sound like I'm criticizing the U.S. for that because I think it's important. So I guess if I believe that, then what I'm looking for is a way for people to, I don't know, shut people up. Am I cutting it too short?
Yeah, well, I think one thing about social media, Frank, is you have that ability to turn it off.
Yes.
Yes.
So I
Or not
definitely.
follow that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think there still should be some social media etiquette that needs to come along and people follow. I definitely agree on that one there. I'm a proponent of free speech, but I'm not a proponent of hateful speech.
Right.
So I think when it comes to social media, I don't think social media is going away anytime soon. So I do think that the government or the world probably needs to come together on what is that going to look like. What's it going to look like 10 years from now? We got 3-year-olds that are on iPhones that can manage it and go to apps. And I think I was, still running around barefoot in the sand when I was 3. So life has changed. Life has changed for the younger generations, and they are growing up on social media, and I don't think it's going away. So we really need to find.
They have so much freedom right now.
We give yes, it's good for, like you say, free speech and social media. But when we're looking at as parents, we have authority to manage our children. We the one that give them. Really, the child is not going to store to buy. We give them, so we do have control and how we want to raise our children, not blaming social media or any technology when we the one that go in store and buy for the children.
Well,
It's
just
not
not even kids on social media that's doing what they do. It's some of the adults.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of ways they can go where to though.
Yeah.
Even though we don't give them that phone, I mean, at school or in the library, I mean, they can.
Yeah.
They all have that.
I think they have a limit to use in at school. They don't have cell phone. They might use laptop to do homework or in some classes. I think it's very important. Like I attend some community in meeting, and when a mother she has concern about the video game that children using, and I say, okay, we're looking out. Blaming somebody, but who's buying for them to watch that video game or play video game? Is sometimes we have to look ourselves what's going on in our own house. We are responsible what is happening in our house.
That's right.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, and video gaming is a whole different aspect of it. I mean, not just children, but we're talking, early 20s. They're paying hours or all night on a video game. So that's another aspect.
Listen, I did not grow up with social media. 7 o'clock, everybody out. We outdoors, so.
Same as in the
like we were
Philippines,
just outside and playing, running, and do what we do, and then come home when it's lunchtime and go back.
Yeah. Times have changed.
Something has changed.
So
This is we've got a few minutes left, so I can ask something that's kind of frivolous. Entertainment. Is there room for you folks to talk about entertainment to whatever end you wish to talk about it?
Yes, entertainment is definitely on there. That's something we have just a normal conversation.
Mhm.
So I think it's really going to depend on, what has happened in that week. We'll probably start off the show with discussing, the hot topics of the day or of the week, what's going on in the world. We'll definitely dedicate time for that before we really roll into the meat of the show.
We will try to mix any topics that we have. That way, it's not going to be like boring kind of.
Or it's not sad every time someone
Yes.
watches it, or we are going to mix it up. We're going to include a lot of stuff to capture everybody, get people involved. That's what it is. Get people involved in the discussion.
My discussion about entertainment would be, if I had a chance to do it, would be: do we really need movies that are more than 3 hours long?
No.
Do we really need them?
I think our 25 minutes is enough.
But they're looking at social media for over 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, well, it's all a form of entertainment, right? You know, when it comes to making friends, that's another thing that we talked about, not being alone. From the other end, where if you are in trouble, don't be afraid to reach out to somebody. Don't be afraid to give someone a hand up. Not necessarily a handout, a hand up. But making friends in the normal course of a day. Do you see yourselves offering some advice in discussing friendship, and not just among the four of you, which is relatively a new friendship, which you could talk about through your experience, but how to find friends. I don't want to say dating, but maybe that too. Is there room for you to also offer that kind of social connection between people in the same place as opposed to the internet?
Yeah, I think that's important. I don't think anybody should be alone. So I think it's definitely a topic that we need to bring up to the table and discuss. I think that falls into like the mental health side too. Being alone, when a person's in their own mind, sometimes they could get lost. So I think it's important for friendships to be established, and if we got to help people to establish that, I think we're all on board to do that.
Or be able to tell them where to go.
Yeah.
Right? There are different things going on. We can say, hey, this is going on this weekend, so people will know where to go. Sometimes they don't know where to go or where to look for stuff, so we'll be able to provide some of that as well.
Yeah. And right now, like I manage the volunteerism in our community. I mean, just going out and volunteering somewhere really brings people together because they're passionate about the same event.
Yes.
So just really finding what you're passionate about and finding like-minded people.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I guess you can establish. I think all four of you understand this, and that is how you can get a lot of good out of teamwork.
Yes.
And that's important in getting to know people. We've only got a few minutes left. I think I got about 2 minutes for each of you, but you don't have to use it all, or you can. I'd like to ask each of you, and we'll start on your left. I'd like to ask each of you. All right, here it is. Your show's been on now for a whole year. What are some of the accomplishments you hope that the viewers will pick up on?
Well, I think one of my important things or an objective would be to get a follower and keep those followers. I think it's important to keep the audience engaged on what they're talking about or what we're talking about, but most importantly, give them an avenue to provide feedback. So I think with using the social media platform, we're going to provide that avenue for them. So if we're talking about something, giving that audience a way to get information to us. So that's establishing a relationship between us and our audience. So to me, I think that's very important. And that would probably be my number one objective.
So that people understand that there's interaction that happens between the program, the people on it, being you guys, and social media so that they can reach out and make a connection with you guys from that perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
But keep them. Once we get your audience, and my goal would be we want to keep them. We want to keep them engaged. We want to keep them coming back every week.
Let's go with number two. How do you see holding interest, and how do you see after a year looking back and going, boy, I'm glad we did this?
Right. One thing that comes to mind is one of the reasons why we are doing this is really to have a healthy sisterhood that we can reach out to a lot of women out there. And we've already talked about earlier about what we can provide for them, the informations that they needed.
That's good.
Yes, the same, almost what Raquel she says, they see us through to them and experience individually who we are. If it's they going through healing process or they've been through, they surviving, and just the connection that we all connect somehow. And so yeah, that connection and healing. I want a lot of women and to heal. I mean, the majority, especially when we go back in trafficking and sexual abuse, is women, the majority. So hopefully that they see someone just like them, just from another country. And so we can all heal, grow together.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you.
And with me personally thinking just that we grow together, that we'll be able to be real, that we don't have to agree with everything, we can disagree, agreeable, and we are true friendship, true sisterhood, where we all come together to find out like what's going on, and we can be honest. So if I walk in and I look a certain way, they know me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when people see realness, they'll gravitate towards that. And I just hope this show be real and we can bring real issues, real solutions, network with different people to actually help people.
It's being real is, it's not. I know to some it's an overused phrase, but really it is important. What it means is truly important, and the four of you come from different realities, which is important because you come from a certain direction. You could talk about the same issue and there'd be four different angles being spoken about. I like the makeup of your group. It's been a real pleasure talking to you and spending this time with you. I welcome you to the Spanglish World family. I hope all the success you could possibly find. And it was a lot of fun talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, we can't forget one very important person. I know you're there, Lamar. I know you're there, Lamar.
Hello.
The man behind the women.
Yes. Okay.
Thanks for doing this, Lamar, because none of it could have happened without you.
That's right.
Well, super excited.
He's
You can say something. Nope.
I'm here.
He's blushing.
I'm sorry, I missed that last thing you said.
I said he's blushing.
Of course he's blushing. I'm blushing for him. Well, we've got a minute left. You know what? We don't have a minute left. So I guess at this point, I'd like to thank you all for being here and taking the time to be with me on our program here. And I really appreciate the four of you, and in fact, the five of you for making time in your day to be here with me.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having
Happy
us.
Friday.
All right. Thank you for being here, and for Agnes Higley Herman, Fatia Ramadan Hall, Diane King Barnes, and Raquel Painter. Oh, I forgot Lamar. I can't forget Lamar. I'm Candid Frank Felici. Thank you for watching Candid Frank Live's Open Forum, seen live Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish World Radio Network. For Open Forum, other news, entertainment, and sports programming we offer, please check out spanglishworld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week.
Thank you. Bye.